This content may contain material that could be distressing or triggering to some individuals, including but not limited to discussions of trauma, mental health, violence, abuse, or other sensitive topics. Please proceed with care.
Hip dysplasia, the bane of my existence. So hip dysplasia is like a musculoskeletal condition, and it's where the hip doesn't form properly in the socket, and very common, a lot more common than people.
Do you know the stats on that? Like
I think like 1 in 6 will have some sort of hip instability as a newborn, but I wouldn't be 100% on how many actually go on to have like full-blown hip dysplasia. But it is, I think I did read that 8 babies a day are diagnosed in Australia.
Wow, that's cuckoo.
With hip dysplasia.
And so hip dysplasia is not something that can be prevented.
Not prevented, but you can do things to assist with like the journey.
No, but like as a pregnant person, you can't do
Absolutely
anything to
not.
prevent hip dysplasia. You
No.
can't, like,
So
your baby is either going to have it or not.
During the pregnancy itself.
Correct, yeah. So the risk factors are firstborns, females, girls are much more likely to have hip dysplasia.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
Because we have more elasticity in our ligaments. We're more flexible.
Crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. Firstborn, female, breech babies, and family history are the main indicators and risk factors. So we had firstborn and family history because he was not breech and he was
obviously
a boy.
a boy.
Yeah. So the only reason we got screened was because there was family history on my husband's side. So all of the kids.
Prior to your son, did you know anything about it? Like,
Never heard of it.
Right.
Never
and
heard
so
of
he's
it.
obviously said, well, this is, that's on my side.
Well, my sister-in-law, so his sister, had a baby a year before us, and she had it, and she was in a brace for a short period of time. And my brother-in-law, so his brother, their kids had it but weren't braced.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's
Manageable without having a
without.
brace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I knew of it from that, but mainly from our niece being braced for a little while. And then I just knew that I had to raise that with the pediatrician when
Based off of a family history.
based off of family history.
So, how I know the story, so I'm asking for everyone else and for Beck, but it was a few months before he got braced.
Yes, so the stock standard is that they'll be assessed at the hospital. They'll do a little
I remember Austin
assessment.
having that little... And
Everyone to check if the hips are unstable or if there's any dislocation. And then...
So is that like a... And we can talk about this later more in depth, but is that like generally enough?
To warrant like screening for it?
Yeah, because they have the same thing I was similar to when
they do this to the babies.
When they did the hearing test for my son, that he passed, and he actually had a mild deafness and had to wear 2 hearing aids.
Oh,
so I'm like moving forward. Yeah, you can do it, but it makes no sense to me because it didn't.
That's how I am.
I'm thinking when they have the baby doctor do all that.
That's exactly.
Check for that.
Yep.
Did that not come up with anything for that?
No.
Or?
So the thing is, you can check, and they can be like, "Yeah, that's great," but they've still got hip dysplasia. So they check for clicky hips, which my son.
I remember that. Clicky hips. I'm like, I have no idea, but. Oh, good. Yeah, cool.
Yeah. My son never had any clicks in his hips.
I fucking have clicky hips now.
So do I.
Maybe you have hip dysplasia.
I reckon I do, actually.
I reckon I probably do. Knowing now what I know about...
Yeah.
Fuck, I always keep going to say his name. About your kid. I've literally grown up thinking to myself, I'm a firstborn. I'm a girl. And actually, I'm technically not a firstborn. Because I have... My cousin was born before me, and she's technically crazy to say, my half sister.
Yeah.
So I'm not really a firstborn, but anyway, I still
so
think...
I get that part of you going, you can do it, but it's not what I'm looking for.
Yeah. Well, that was with my second child, for sure. The first time around, I didn't really know anything. So
at which point did you then go, we should get this scan done?
Well, I said to the pediatrician, there's a strong family history, and he said, yep, no worries, I'll give you the referral. You go at 6 weeks. So you have your first screening at 6 weeks old. They do an ultrasound. And I remember going, and it was the same lady that did his brain scan. And she was like, oh my God, how going? Like, it was nice. And so she did the scan, and I said, we don't have any concerns. We're just here for precaution.
Yeah.
And she said nothing during the scan. And I was like, that's really odd, because last time
she was really
chatty, talked to me, very comforting, told me everything was fine. And then this time she's not saying anything. And so did that, went to the follow-up pediatrician appointment, and he was like, so the hips aren't great. And I was like, oh, like really thrown. And he's like, so these are the percentages. And at that point in time, I didn't really know much about the numbers. So when they get their first ultrasound, it's like a lot of it's based on numbers, so percentages.
Didn't know that.
So they like hips, the coverage to be in the 60%, so above 60. Within the 50s, they're like, oh, like we'll watch it. And then like under, like in the 40s and 30s and whatnot, they tend to take action and brace. Not all the time, but that's like the kind of consensus. And so I believe he was maybe like high 40s, maybe one hip was in the 50s. And he's like, they're not great, but I will refer you to the children's hospital. And I was like, yeah, no worries. And he was like, it'll take a couple of weeks. A couple of weeks went by, didn't hear anything. And so I emailed the pediatrician. I was like, we still haven't heard anything from the hospital. And so he followed up with them. And then it got to the day of, he was 12 weeks. And the pediatrician had said to me, in the meantime, I'll give you this referral, get re-scanned at 12 weeks. And you should hear from them in the meantime. So it was literally the day of the 12-week scan. The hospital called me and they said, we're so sorry, we lost your referral, but we've got it. And I said, well, I'm actually going for a scan today. And they said, oh, perfect. We'll chase the results and we'll make a call from there. Went for the scan. The lady, again, same lady with the brain scan. And she was like, hips are much, much better, within the normal range, whatever. And I was like, oh, perfect. Left. I was like feeling so good. And then
but
the hospital.
in between that, there was nothing to, do you think that would have indicated?
There's nothing that you, like, a baby can have hip dysplasia and you wouldn't fucking know.
No, that's correct.
Like, if they're not diagnosed and not scanned, which is something I learned from Dana in our friendship, you wouldn't fucking know. Like, you could just, and it's not like they're gonna be delayed in reaching any of their milestones. It doesn't affect their crawling ability, as far as I'm aware.
It depends on the child. Like,
but also they're 12 weeks old, so they're
correct. That's right.
Exactly. You have no clue,
and it's not like they're in any pain from hip dysplasia.
Okay,
no.
yeah.
And like when they did the assessment on my child, no issues.
Yeah.
So if I didn't flag the family history, God knows.
Same as the hearing test. He ended up being mild deafness in both ears because of family history, as I did. And I flagged it with him, and he ended up wearing 2 hearing aids. He doesn't wear it now because he's just like, I'm fine. But yeah, he passed twice. Passed twice.
Yeah. So there's flaws in the system, we'll say. But yeah, the hospital called me and they said, pardon me, the hips are looking really good, much, much better. They've just made one note about the left hip and its placement. So we'll still bring you in, but we're going to wait until he's old enough to have an x-ray. So when they're that little, they don't like to x-ray them. They do ultrasound. Once they get to 5-6 months, then they can have an x-ray. And so literally the day he turned 5 months, we were booked to go to the hospital. And so it's like you see the orthopedic surgeons and they do it all in like a clinic there. And I remember in the meantime, I was thinking to myself, maybe I could just go private and I could go a little bit sooner. Like I was very lucky to be in a position where I could access that.
Yeah.
But I said that to the lady on the phone. I said, look, I'm thinking I might just go private. And she goes, you can, but if he needs a brace, it's very, very expensive. You're better off just coming to the hospital and it's all free. And I was like, okay, no worries. I'll just come. Not thinking anything of it. And it was the day of the appointment. He was 5 months old and my husband was like, do you want me to come? And I was like, oh no, we'll be in and out. Like, it'll be fine. Like, it's just going to be a quick...
Because it's been pretty fine.
Yeah, like, no one really, like, raised anything significant with me. And so I went, thinking nothing of it, got the x-ray, went in, and the specialist came in, and she was just like, so he needs a brace? And I was like, oh, like, completely blindsided. That's the word that I use with his hip dysplasia journey, was just, I was blindsided. Like, I did not see it coming. It hit me like a ton of bricks. And she didn't really go into too much detail. And I'm the type of person, anything medical, I need to know everything. Yeah. I don't want you to dumb it down for me. I want you to tell me everything I need to know so I can go home and I can do my own research and I can know exactly what I need to do. And she didn't really give me anything. And so she's like, yep, you'll come back, wear this for 3 months, and come back and, like, you know.
Reassess.
Yeah. And so she's like, go down to this clinic downstairs and they'll fit you for the brace. Went down, was like just an absolute mess. Went in and the guy was like fitting the brace and I was like, well, like, what about his milestones? Like, how's he going to learn how to sit up? And he was just like, yeah, like, and then I was just like burst into tears. I'm like,
because it's not reassuring. You
no.
want like, well,
he's 5 months old. Yeah.
But we're approaching that age where he's going to be, you know, trying to sit up and then he'll try and crawl and whatever. And And yeah, it was just like the biggest kick in the guts. And like a few weeks before that, I had reached out to a pediatric physio because I started to notice he wasn't really meeting a lot of his milestones. And I was like, something's not right. And like,
and isn't it bizarre that although you knew, like, you know something's not right, and you know in your gut, like, could be something, whether you knew it was that or not, but then when, like, this happens and they say to you, it's still very much a blind side.
Yeah.
When Jermaine had to get him, and I knew because that's why I took him. That's why I do it. And it was very clear. But I remember ringing up my mum like, this perfect child has something wrong with him. And she's like, he's still perfect. He's fine. Like, this image of this perfect child just crumbled into like a million pieces for me.
Yeah.
I'm like, he's going to get picked on, something's going to happen, he's not going to hit it. Like, and she's like, it's fine.
Exactly.
So,
Like, that's why you went
And
to
that
get
was
those
like
answers.
me with the physio.
And yet still, you're blindsided. Like, you're like, what the fuck?
That was with the physio. Like, I remember talking to her on the phone, and she was recommended by a family member, and I was saying, this is what I'm seeing, and this was what happened with his birth, and blah, 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 blah. And there was a period of time where there was possible cerebral palsy on the card.
Shut
because of
up.
his birth.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But is that, again, this could be really naive and stupid of me, but is that not brain developmental delay where they would have picked that up in the first scan?
So it might not necessarily show in the scans.
That's what I was,
And so that was a massive contributor to my poor mental health during postpartum, was because I was constantly just in my head, does he have it? Does he not? Does he have it? Does he not? I need to know so I can start taking action. And so I was just so caught up in that.
Anytime the big gap in between anything, right? So they could have said 3 days, but that's
3 years.
And like when every time I would raise it with the doctor, it was always, well, we can't really diagnose at this age. We have to wait. That's normally diagnosed like 18 months to 2 years. And I'm like, I can't fucking wait that long. Like, I can't wait that long. And so his pediatric physio, I feel like, is the first person that ever truly listened to me, because I raised it with the pediatrician. I said, I'm really concerned about his milestones. And he was like, he'll be fine. And then I literally never went back to that pediatrician again because I was so fucking pissed off that he dismissed me. And then I went to this pediatric physio and she did the assessment and she was like, yeah, he has severe delays in his development. And I was like, I fucking knew it.
It's like you've been gaslit the whole
Yeah,
time.
I was like, I knew it. Like, I knew that.
I wasn't going
And
crazy.
it undermines you as a first-time mother.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I'm not stupid.
Yeah.
I've not had any other kids, but I definitely know that something's
Exactly.
not
And that's how I
okay.
felt. I was like, yeah, I might be new to this, but I know that something is not right.
Regardless of how much disassociation you've had or how much trauma has been leading up to, I know that this is not normal for my child.
Exactly.
My child.
Yeah. So, like, we worked so hard at the physio. Like, it was fucking torture. Like, I remember going to her, like, the second appointment and just, like, bursting into tears and sobbing because I was like, this is so fucking hard. Like, why do I have to do this? Like, why can't I just watch him plod along and develop like every other child? Like, he has so many difficulties, and all I kept thinking to myself was like how hard his life was going to be, like if we didn't get on top of it. And it was kind of like, it caused a lot of tension between me and my husband as well, because I was the one at the appointments listening to everything she was telling me and taking it in and then trying to relay it to him, but I'm not relaying it properly and I'm missing pieces. So he's just like, he's fine. And I'm like, he's not fucking fine. Like, we need to do these things or he's going to have a fucked life. Because she was telling me, like, not trying to scare me, but she was just like, you know, there are repercussions long term if we don't get on top of this
now.
And so, like, I'm telling him, we have to do this, we have to get it sorted. And he's like, this is ridiculous. Like, it's fine.
That would be my husband, trying to reassure.
And that's the
bring
thing.
it down.
I always say, like,
in the end, like, it's not anyone's fault. Obviously, you're receiving this information, probably really fucking stressed when you're doing it.
And let's
trying
be
to
honest,
remember it
your
all,
husband
relay
is your
it back.
safe place. So
Yeah.
if you're going to yell at anybody,
It's
would
gonna be him.
Not that was ever okay, but that was okay. For
and
him.
I always say, like, he's just a very optimistic person,
Yeah, he really
whereas
is.
I'm very pessimistic. I'm like, no, this is fucked. Like, what are we gonna do?
Everything's fucked.
Literally, and he's like,
We're all doomed.
It'll be fine. Like, and I'm always like, why are you so positive? Like, this is such a shit situation.
And
Why
it's
do you have to
change
be
after
so
change after
positive?
change.
Yeah.
It's throwing you, yeah.
So yeah, like, we ended up, like, I had to do, like, all this stuff, and, like, it was fucking torture, but, like, we got there and he was, like, doing so well and we were on top of it, and she was like, this is incredible. Like, I've never seen a child make progress the way that he has made progress in such a short amount of time. And I said to myself, like, it got to the 4.5 months and I was like, I'm finally starting to, like, enjoy this. Like, I'm enjoying motherhood and I'm enjoying him and I'm enjoying my baby. And then literally, like, 2 weeks later, we got the hip dysplasia diagnosis, and then I went fucking spiraled again.
Yeah.
So I was like, I had these, like, few weeks of,
Short-lived.
this is what it's supposed to be. Oh my God, like, I'm actually enjoying this now. And then I just came crashing down, like, with the hips.
Fuck them damn hips, man.
Them hips.
Fuck them hips.
So yeah, he was in a brace for 23 hours a day, and like
20. Think about that.
Yeah.
23 hours a day. And I've talked about this with Tay before when we've talked about your kid and both your kids. And Taylor asked me once or twice, she's like, so how long was he in the brace for? I'm telling you, Tay, he only had it off for 60 minutes a day. Mm-hmm. And you would just take it off in the middle of the day for some funsies?
We would take it off for a bath and like a little bit of playtime, and that was it.
That's crazy.
The first night was fucked. He's always been a fantastic sleeper.
Yes. Oh my God. I wish my kid was like your kid for sleep.
And it was the first night, and he
Did he wake up
every
heaps?
2 hours on the dot. He would wake up screaming, and they say it's not painful for them. It's just very uncomfortable. And I just remember running in there like just feeling so bad for him, because I was like, you poor fucker, like
You poor fucker.
like you love to sleep so much, and you're just so uncomfortable with this fucking thing. Like it was just awful. And so like we kind of adjusted, but he was like, it sounds awful, but he was a very miserable baby. Like he, you know, when people are like, oh my God, they're such a happy baby, like they just love life and they smile. That was not him. Like he cried and whinged a lot. Like he wasn't like a colicky baby. Like the newborn, he was fucking like perfect. Like he was perfection. After that, it was just very unsettled
never happy
all the time. He was never settled. He was like, it was really hard.
So completely threw your baby from one extreme to another as well.
Yeah. And so then add the brace into it, and he was just miserable. Like, and they're like, oh, they adjust, just give it a couple of months. I'm like, well, he was already miserable to begin with. And
How much more miserable can we get?
How much more miserable can we get? And it was just like so hard. And like we would go out and about, and like people just fucking stare at you, and they're like, and one thing that really got to me was like people being like,
I know what you're gonna say.
Like, this poor baby, and I'm like, you're talking like I'm doing the wrong thing by him. Like I'm doing what I have to do to get him to where he needs to be, and you're acting like, yeah, poor baby, but like
this is actually the better side.
This is the reality. It's either this or he has a fucking hip replacement when he's 12.
Yeah.
Like, so like, and people would say all the time, oh, well, you have to put that baby through, this poor baby, and I'm like
as if you're hanging upside down every day.
Like I'm doing this because I want to. Like, no, of course I wouldn't fucking have him in it if I didn't have to. But this is like, what else are we supposed to do? Like, and I just like that period of time where he was braced was like just an awful time for me, because like I just felt so much judgment.
And he was braced for almost a year, no?
13 months.
13 months. I thought it was just...
No, and like I've carried so much guilt, and I feel like I've only very recently let go of the guilt, because like in my opinion, he was braced too late. And I think back now and I'm like, fuck it hell, like he was braced so early, like 5 months.
Yeah.
But I saw my niece who was braced at 6 weeks, and so I could never let go of that. I'm like, he should have been braced at 6 weeks. Why didn't the pediatrician, you know, act sooner?
Yeah.
Why are we waiting? We've wasted so much time.
Yeah, find out.
And I remember that. I remember you and I having a conversation about this very early on. You telling me most babies get braced at 6 weeks, like in newborn phase, and like she deserved better. He deserved more. He deserved better.
Yeah.
And the reason is the public system. That's literally it.
They lost the referral, and that was it. And so I was like, I should have pushed more. I should have gone private. I should have seen a better pediatrician. Like I blamed
And it's
myself
not on you.
for
It's
everything.
just unfortunately what fucking happened.
Yeah.
Like it's just what happened.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
it's
You fell
not.
through
You
the
didn't do
crack, and
anything
that's-
different.
yeah.
It's exactly right. You fell through the cracks, and that's fucking shit. But you didn't do anything wrong, and there's nothing you could have done differently.
Because you chased it up again.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there was a point where she said, maybe I'll just go private, and she was talked out of it.
Yeah, exactly. I remember in therapy, the psychologist said to me, because it was my first session, and I talked about his hips, because
When
it's...
you first mentioned therapy, I was like, whoa. And then as you're talking, I'm like, I'm not even fucking breathing. I can see why.
Yeah.
You need
But,
therapy.
yeah, it was like our first session, we're getting to know each other, and hips is always something that comes up regularly because I carry such a big burden of it. And he said to me, do you feel guilty about that? And I just burst into tears. And I was like, of course I do. I carry so much guilt. Like I blame...
And let's like not even talk about, and we can cut this if you want me to cut this, but, and I think you know what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
The people in your life that either said verbatim or implied that it was your fault because you... When Dana was pregnant for both her pregnancies, she was very small. Like she looked very physically small-bellied. Yeah. And there was people in her life that either verbatim said it or implied that because she was so small, it's what caused the hips to be fucked.
Shut the fuck up.
And like that's first of all, medically, scientifically, fucking incorrect. Like it's just
Incorrect,
That's
yeah.
not how it works.
Yeah.
First of all, but even if it
But
was
where
how
did
it
you
works,
get that assumption from? Of all the assumptions, I'm thinking there could have been anything else you could have said there.
Well,
except for
I
your
would love to
size.
see if you wouldn't mind including a photo of your pregnancies, because it was like my mum would explain it like a thread with a knot tied in the middle. Like that's how my mum would explain it. It's a very common phrase in Spanish. Like she was little and there's a tiny little bump and that's it. Very, very small. So
But the fact that people could say, like, it blows my mind that people could say that
Yeah.
to a mother.
And I don't think people have like ill intention. It's
No.
I
but
think
I
some
just-
people fucking do, Dana, but that's another story.
it's just
But
like
even if you didn't have anything, shut the fuck up.
yeah, and that was one thing that really like stuck with me and significantly contributed to the guilt that I held
Yeah,
for it.
I just
Because
nobody knows what else you're carrying.
medically, if you look at statistics, reports by pediatricians, specialists in the field, that's just not how it fucking works.
Yeah.
Like you could have, like that's just not how it
For
works.
us,
Like
it was just the family history.
Correct.
Like
Yeah.
unfortunately,
So who are you
all of
blaming
my
now?
children are just
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Who are you
like,
blaming now?
it's just something that we are, exposed to, and it's just like our reality for us.
yeah. How old was baby one when you were brace free?
Oh, he came.
I feel like by the time we became friends, you were only bracing him at night time.
So he was braced like full time for like a big chunk of time, and then how it works is they start reducing your hours. So as you improve, they bring the hours down. So we went from like 23 hours to 22 hours to 20 hours to 18 hours, and then we went to.
So that's always
By
good.
the time we were friends, you were bracing him only at night time.
Okay.
I remember
Yeah.
that. Because I remember you sending me photos of him in his brace, like, we're going to bed now. Like,
Yeah.
And he'd be in his brace with his ergo pouch.
Yeah.
That they make
Yeah.
heap dysplasia ones.
Yeah. So like every time we would go down in hours, like it was always a win, but it was always like you would be hopeful for more.
Yeah.
But I actually ended up switching to private midway through. Still see the exact same doctor that I saw in the public system. We see her privately now, and unfortunately, it is a completely different experience.
Isn't that crazy that it's the same doctor?
It's the same doctor.
Why is that?
Because she's got more time, and
Because you're paying her for her time.
Correct. But she literally, the day we switched and we saw her privately, she opened the door and she said, "I'm so glad you've come to see me here."
But is she the same one that actually said, "Oh, that's okay, like it's going to cost you"?
No, that was one of the
That was like a
registrars. Yeah, it was like one of the junior doctors. Because you literally, I reckon you get maybe 5 minutes with them in the public system. When I saw her for the first time privately, we got half an hour. And she gave me the fucking rundown of everything. She pulled up every scan he'd ever had, every single percentage, every number she showed me. We sat there and we talked
Isn't
and
it
talked.
funny that even she would have to switch personas?
Well,
to
not so
see
much
clients.
personas, but she had again, like Dana said, like the time to just invest in.
Yeah, but she would have
educating
to. But
you
she would
and-
have to then, like, knowing what she knows, to be able to say Dana privately. Okay, let's do this.
Yeah.
But even the public, were like,
Bang, bang,
you
bang, bang,
couldn't-
bang. Sorry,
you
next
couldn't
one.
put in the
She
time and the
said-
effort, like, okay, no worries then. That's okay. Well, I'll make another appointment for you. Like, you would have to, like, you couldn't care too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it would be more than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Where she would be able to, like, okay, what we have here.
Let's unpack
instead
this.
of a slideshow. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And like she said, the public system is great. It has its place. But if people can, it's better to see me here. Because for someone like me who has a lot of health anxiety and wants to know every fucking detail, like that, I walked out of that appointment on such a high, even though we were still braced and it was still the same situation. I felt so empowered because I knew
We
she
always
had.
say
Knowledge is power. That's our thing
Exactly.
here. We say
Yeah.
every episode, knowledge is power.
And
it's like,
she knows that. I say to her, I need you to give me everything. Like, I want to know it all. Tell me everything so I know exactly what I'm up for. I don't want you to fucking beat around the bush and tell me, oh, it could be 3 months in the brace. You tell me. And I said to her one appointment, realistically, I need you to tell me, like, what are we working with? And she said, I cannot see him out of a brace before he's won. And by that point, I had come to terms with it all. And I was like, okay, perfect. That's what I was thinking
And she
too.
also told you.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like,
She wasn't
maybe
like-
at 8 months, and then when he got out at 8 months, you're like, well, what the fuck are we doing wrong?
Because that was when I saw her the first time. She said to me 3 months. So we went back for our checkup 8 weeks later, and she goes, okay, I'll see you in 3 months. I said, whoa. You told me 3 months altogether.
Yeah, we're out of it though. Right?
So why are we going another 3 months? Whereas she should have told me we start 3 months as a minimum, and then we take it from there. So I was just like...
But again, she didn't have the fun. It's not about...
Exactly.
Caring, but she just didn't have the time either to just sit there and go into everything with you.
Because if she had said 8 months or whatever, then she would have to have more time to explain why. She just didn't have time.
Yeah, exactly. And literally, like, you're just a number in the public hospital.
Yeah,
like, they're literally churning through, like, they're churning through, like, 60 kids a day in that clinic. We literally walk through the foyer of the hospital, and she's like, hey, my child's name, hey, guys, how are you? Like, she knows us by name, by face. She called me the other day because I sent an email just asking a question about my second child, thinking the receptionist would just like send me back. She called me at 8:30 in the morning. Hey, thought it would just be easier to call you. You'll stress less. I'll give you the information.
But also she cares enough about that because of your medical anxiety as well, which is no doubt helping you massively.
I wonder how many times every pediatric specialist of any flavour thinks to themselves, I'm treating the kid for this whatever condition they have, but like I'm also treating these parents.
Yeah. And it was so funny because I said to her, when you sent me away at our first appointment and you sent me downstairs to get braced, I was hysterical. And she said, they should have sent you back to me. They should have sent you back to me. Like, you should have come back. And I'm like, how the fuck am I supposed to know that? Like, that it was an option to even come back. I waited my turn. I had my time, and then I went.
Because you have these so many, like, high-powered doctors, again, it's that, like, I don't know if I can ask for that. I don't know. Raquel had the same issue. She didn't feel like to ask. You didn't know to ask. There's a lot of mothers that are like, I don't know if it's my place. I don't know if I'm... And this is probably the wrong way. We're trying to find the right word. Like, smart enough. I don't know if it's my place to ask. Am I anybody that's got these certificates?
Well, it's like a hierarchy. Like,
Am I the one to be asking you the questions? Can I do that? Or should you just be telling me I'm accepting it?
That's right.
Where do I then say, yeah, I don't agree with that?
Yeah.
Because you've gone through years of medical school for this and I haven't.
Exactly. Right. And it's so funny, like, going through it the second time around, because I went in there and I was, had this whole plan in my head thinking that my second child was going to go into a brace. And I said, I'm telling her, we're not doing that brace, we're doing this brace. And I know that she would have agreed with me because she knows I know what the fuck I'm doing. I know how this goes now. And she's going to let me have a little bit of flexibility. And how much more confident
did you feel?
Oh my God, unbelievable. Like,
with all that going on though, and that's probably going to be the next question, I'm surprised you thought, let's do this again.
Oh, me too. I think I was fucking delusional, like, state of mind.
And it was around your first kid's first birthday that you had an embryo transfer.
I think he was 13 months. I was at his first birthday party. I had gone for a blood draw a couple of days before, and I remember thinking, no one can see the Band-Aid. Like, I have to rip it off because I don't want anyone to know I'm doing this.
But I remember there was a time where I was like, oh, well, if you need someone to look after him, like, you can drop him off at mine, and then you can, because I think I knew that you were going to do it.
Yeah, you did.
But I didn't think...
You were one of the only people that knew.
Yeah, that's right,
Yeah, it was around his first birthday because I remember saying to the nurse on the phone, I really hope the transfer's not on this date because it's my child's first birthday and I want to spend it with you. And she was like, oh, we'll try our best, but obviously can't help those things. It lands on the day that it lands on. And that ended up being like maybe 3 or 4 weeks later because just the timing with everything, it didn't line up. But yeah, it was around when he was 1, which is crazy because I had just fucking been through the absolute ringer.
And then you decided, you didn't accidentally do 2
That's what I mean. Like, it wasn't like, oh, we're going for a hard time and we slept together and... I needed that comfort. Like, you actually went through all this and done that, and then I was like...
It's really funny.
About like a second one.
She chose to do 2 and 2.
Yeah, I paid for it again. Yeah. For a second time. But I remember, like, again, discussing this with my psychologist, being like, with hip dysplasia, like, it's a really hard process to go through, but at the end of the day, it's not like a life-limiting disorder. It's not where your life is at risk. Like, at the end of the day...
Even if it goes untreated, it's not life-limiting.
Like, when did you seek therapy? After the second, in the middle of it all?
I accessed counselling through community health. Oh, God, maybe when he was like... He would have been older than 6 months.
Okay. The first baby?
Yes.
Okay.
And then I accessed my current psychologist when I went to the OB for my second. I told her about my history and she said, we're not doing that again. Yeah. You'll be going...
And the second OB was my OB the first time because her OB the first time retired. Her first OB retired. And she comes to me and she's like, I know you went to the same clinic. who was your OB, and I was like, this bitch saved my life. Not literally in any way, 'cause I didn't have any life saving needs, but like, she was just...
She's a fucking queen.
She's the one. She is the
is
one. And so then Dana went to her. Oh,
unbelievable.
She's such a sweet woman.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I saw her, my first appointment, I told her about my experience, and she was like, we have a psychologist on site, like, who you can see throughout your entire pregnancy and continue to see him. And so she referred me to him, and I started seeing him.
Therapy had helped you to then go into and be like, hey, we're going to do this again.
Yeah, it definitely, like, it was prepped me for everything, because a big topic of our conversation was around birthing a second baby and being terrified of the same thing happening.
But I know also how fucking excited you were for that.
Oh my God, I was so excited.
Yeah.
Because in my head, I was like, this is going to be a redeeming, like, this is my redemption era.
And it was.
Yeah.
And it was.
It was, yeah. I can't remember what we were just talking about.
Sorry,
before.
that's
no,
not
that's
me.
okay. I can't remember what it was.
Going into therapy.
It was before that. I can't even remember.
Well, we have it on video.
We're on some train.
I'm sorry about that.
That's okay. It's all right.
I think we're all just interested in, like, what's happening? What's going on?
Oh, that's right. No, I was saying, like, with hip dysplasia, it's such a tough journey to go through, but it's not, like, you know, life-threatening or anything like that. So I always, again, I sat in these two minds of, this fucking sucks. I feel so sorry for myself. Why do I have to go through this? And grow the fuck up, snap out of it. There's people out there so much worse off with you. You have a healthy child at the end of the day. Yeah, you've had some bumps in the road, but like, get over yourself. Because I was like, it's just hips. Like, it's literally just fucking hips. And my psychologist had to explain it to me. And I turn to use this analogy all the time now. And it's that it sucks. But like, you know, two things can coexist at once.
I struggle with that a lot.
Yeah.
I struggle with that a lot.
He's like, you are so blessed that you have this child that is healthy, but at the same time, this journey fucking sucks. Yeah. And those two things are allowed to happen at the same time.
I struggle with that, and everyone says that to me. Two things can exist, two feelings can be true, two things can be right at the same time. But I really struggle with that from a neurodivergent perspective, because to me, everything is black and white. To me, everything is, it's all or nothing. As a neurodivergent person, I know you say that a lot. It's all or nothing. So like, I know that in theory that is true, but if I'm in that situation, I find it really conflicting.
And you know what, even for myself, I can talk you through that. Like,
yeah,
that's okay. And I can tell you, I've been the greatest psychology for that.
100%.
It can have two things can happen at once, but two, for myself.
But when you're in it, it's really conflicting. And I admire, like, it sounds as though you have come to peace with that two things can be true at once. Teach me how. Because I just cannot, you know? And that's great. I'm glad that you have come to terms with this, like, I can struggle with this, but I'm also really grateful for this.
And like, obviously I have my moments where I'm still like, you know, no, like, get over yourself. You're being absolutely ridiculous, so dramatic. And then other times where I'm like on the flip side. And I'm like, no, this fucking sucks. Like, why me? Why do I have to deal with this? Why does my child have to go through this? But I lost my train of thought. But again, like, I see other people out there, and like, I actually know you mentioned this same person in one of your other videos, because I always think of her, the mum from the UK with the daughter.
Oh my God, do you watch her too?
I do. And
everyone, my cousin messaged me, was like, oh my God, I know her too.
When we were going through the hip ordeal with my second child, I kept thinking that was happening at the same time. Her diagnosis was happening at the same time. And I remember being like, get the fuck over yourself. Yeah. It's hips. Look at what else look at the other option.
What it could be.
Look what this fucking poor woman and her daughter are going through, and you're crying over hips. Literally get over it.
And I watched her video just today. She's still tube feeding her like 13, 14-month-old baby.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that's where I do struggle with those two things coexisting at once. Yeah. And like, I remember like going and seeing people like hanging out with other mums and stuff, and like, you know, as you do, you share your story and whatever, and people remember saying to me like, wow, like, you've had a really like rough time. And like, I think to myself, but there's other people that have so much worse than me. Like, when people, like, I told my story and people were like, oh fuck, like, you really had it rough. I'm like, but I have like a healthy child at the end of the day. Like, you know, we've definitely had our bumps in the road, but then like, on the flip side, I think from their perspective, and I'm like, maybe I did have a bit of a tough time. Like, I still struggle to come to terms with that.
Yeah, and then it's like, what do you consider to be rough or tough? Like,
because for you, that was rough, but you're coming through it.
Yeah.
But for someone like myself listening to it, I'm like, that's never happened to me, so that's rough.
Yeah, that's right.
And we all have our own ideas of rough, so I guess if we had told you our stories at some point, you'd be like, fuck.
Yeah.
But that's rough for us for what it is. And vice versa. So I don't think we give ourselves the credit to be like, you know what?
And the time.
Got there.
And the time to sit there with your thoughts and go, fuck, we're doing all right
I think
now.
I'm just like so go. Like I don't stop because you don't have the time when you're a parent. Like you're just so caught up in what your child's doing or whatever, and then like you just go to bed. You literally don't have the time to sit and process what you've been through.
And like at one point, I don't know how old he was, but your firstborn went back to daycare or started daycare. You started work, and then it wasn't long before you decided to.
I went back to work 7 weeks pregnant.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then was like trying to do the whole daycare transition and but I remember like chatting with a mum that in my opinion went through like a horrific time with her baby. Like he had so many health complications, was in hospital for such a long time. And I just remember having so much like sympathy for her, hearing about everything that was going on. And then she said to me, oh my God, like you've really, really been through it. And I thought to myself,
what
are
the
you fucking
fuck?
for real? I've been through it. Like, what do you mean? Like, thinking to myself, you have had it 10 times worse than I did. And it, like, really fucked with my head.
But she normalised it as well. She's normalised it like, well, we're here now, so let's just dismiss the hard... Not dismiss it, but, like, we're here now.
Yeah.
That's it. Like,
but it had to, like, try and... Like, I had to train my brain to realise, like, just because she had it harder than me doesn't mean my hard wasn't hard for me.
No, that's what I mean. It was hard for you for what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we, again, like, because we normalise it and we compare the stories, like, well, that was hard. Oh, mine's not that hard.
Yeah.
You also went through that conflict in well, think yourself lucky it's not this.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
So you had to for your own well-being, I guess, to keep moving forward, but it also undermined what you went through.
Exactly. Yeah.
So then... Pregnant with your second born.
Yes, so we did an embryo transfer. Once again, very blessed, very lucky for it to be successful the first time.
Sticky energy.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure you were one of like the very first people that I told because you knew that I was going.
Yes,
for the
and
transfer.
it was a very interesting time because I was like, is it weird if I ask and like follow up?
Yeah.
Because like. It is weird. It is. No, let's be real. It is
be
fucking
like,
weird.
So how'd it go?
How'd it go? And like, oh, sorry, chemical pregnancy, just fucking miscarried. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh, fuck, shouldn't have asked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I should have just, you wait. You're supposed to just wait. But I remember, with Taylor being like, fuck, do I ask? Like, what do I don't know.
Because it was like with my first child, the pregnancy test was like clear as day positive.
Yeah.
With my second.
I remember this actually.
Yeah. And so my first was a 3-day embryo transfer and my second was a 5-day embryo transfer. So technically you should test positive earlier because you're 2 days further along. And
Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I could see your brain working.
I hear it a lot, and so I'm like starting to sort of piece some things together, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
It does sound confusing still.
Yeah.
When you
it
don't
is.
know, it's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
So my firstborn had developed to day 3 and then was frozen and then transferred. And then my second was developed to day 5 and then he was frozen and then transferred. So he was 2 days further along. And his tests were like inconclusive. Like I was like...
And that's the thing as well, when you go through the public fertility system, which straight people can but queers cannot. Did you know that?
No.
That's crazy. Yeah. Because
I didn't actually.
You need a sperm donor. Whereas if you have a male partner...
They're like, that's too hard for us.
Literally.
Go elsewhere.
Literally. Actually, I do think that maybe if you have a known donor, then you can.
Okay.
So if we had like a male friend that was going to donate, then I think we are eligible for the public system.
But it's restrictive.
Yes. But because we don't want a known donor, that's not an option for us. Anyway, beside the point. Through the public system, you do your embryo transfer and you're sent home with
a pregnancy test.
What are they called? First response pregnancy tests.
Yeah.
That's not the case when you go through the private system.
Bloods,
they actually encourage you not to do at-home pregnancy tests. We did because we fucking wanted to.
Everyone does.
I feel like everyone does. Yeah. And then you have to go in and get a blood test. But anyway, continue.
Yeah.
You did your blood test.
So they give you a date to test, and they say don't test before this. Everyone fucking does.
They don't.
I have zero self-control.
Yeah,
so,
same.
I tested early for my first, and then for this one as well. And this is why they tell you not to, because my tests were inconclusive, and it drove me fucking crazy. And yeah, like they just weren't. Like it was like, is there a line? Isn't there a line? And then they like weren't really getting darker. So I remember messaging Izzy a photo and being like, do you reckon I'm pregnant? Like,
None of my pregnancy tests show up until I do a blood test.
oh.
So they'll be negative. So even if I thought I'm in a period, I'm pregnant, and then I've done them, my husband always has to be sure it doesn't show up until it's up. And then the blood test kicks in positive.
So have
and
you
then
had...
the body goes, so with both my pregnancies,
But have you ever had to go in and get a blood test thinking you were pregnant because you pissed on a stick and it didn't work anyway?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There's been one time, and then my husband's like, it doesn't show up. Remember that? And I was like,
was that recent?
huh?
Was that recent?
Not recent. Probably last year. Well and truly last year.
Yeah, like recent, like in our friendship. Like in our friendship.
Oh my god, I thought I was pregnant. And I remember throwing like the pregnancy test out because it was like bit-ish. And he's like, it doesn't fucking show up, idiot. And I actually read it wrong because apparently it was like the other way around. And I was like, so it was very negative. And then
that's ideal.
And it was nothing. And I was like, you're right. But both my pregnancies have showed nothing because I've tested and tested and tested and tested and I've cried so I'm not pregnant. Then the blood test comes and it's like the body, whatever the HCG, whatever, all kicks in and like, we're pregnant.
Wow.
And then my body reacts. So I could have a period still throughout it. Then I get which I did with my first. I was 7.5 weeks pregnant and I had a period still both times.
Wow.
And then the body went, no morning sickness, no nothing. The doctor said, you're pregnant, by the way. The very next day, period stopped, nothing happened, morning sickness. The body went, that's what we do.
Pregnant. Yeah.
Oh my god, it's like a mindfuck, isn't it?
So anyways, I remember you sending me that photo. I'm like, what do you think?
Yeah.
I feel like I would have been like, fuck, dude, I'm not the bitch to ask.
Yeah, you were like, you gotta get the blood test.
Yeah.
Like, this, I can't give you the answers you're looking for.
Yeah.
Sometimes the public and private do completely different.
Yeah, they literally send you home with two
And then
things
the
to piss on.
expert's like, don't do that.
Yeah.
The other one,
Yeah, private, they tell you not to, especially because, do you have a trigger shot before your...
Before my retrieval.
Oh, no, different, because I did IUI. So I had a trigger shot before insemination. And it's just to make sure that your eggs are nice and ready and good to go for the sperm to meet it. But it also increases your HCG. So if I did a pregnancy test, if I did that trigger shot and then did a pregnancy test before I was even inseminated, it would have said I was pregnant.
Yeah.
Even though there's no chance I would.
So I didn't have to worry about that because mine were frozen.
Correct.
Transfers,
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was like, once again, me, the pessimistic one. Oh, it's not worked. Oh my God, it's a chemical pregnancy. And then my husband's like, I think you're pregnant. Woo! And I'm like, no, yeah, I'm not. This is not working. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, like went and got my first blood test. And again, inconclusive. It was like, I think my HCG was like 25, which is like, it's there, but it's not high enough to be classified. So I had to go and retest. And then from there, it was raising. And then, it was another amazing pregnancy. Had like my sciatica pain, but that was
so sweet. I babysat him a few weeks ago and he fell asleep in my arms and I was like, I could do this forever. Couldn't do it with my own kid again. Fuck that.
Yeah.
But I could babysit. I was, again, keep going to say their names. I could do it forever with this baby. It was so freaking cute.
And like he's just such a sweet boy. Like when people
not a bulldozer.
No, well not yet anyway. Like
there's still time.
He is a happy baby.
Oh,
so I got like well, there's a little bit more settled. Yeah. And that was like with the birth as well. And so
yeah, because he came out and I'll never forget you said that he cried.
He cried and
straight
it was
away.
like the
and that
best.
would be your like what you're waiting for.
It was and our OB, like that we had, she was just
such a sweetie.
Spectacular. Like I think I spoke to her about it at every appointment. I'm so worried. She was so supportive, and we were.
That would have been like therapy in itself.
It was. It was. That I just knew that she was ready to go. She even offered to birth me at the public hospital. She said, "I can see how stressed you are. Let's go and birth at the public hospital. I will have the NICU team in the room. I will have the pediatricians in the room, ready to go."
So good.
And
did you end up doing that?
No, I didn't, because I said the stress of afterwards of not being able to potentially not have my husband stay will make me spiral. And she said, look, most of the time with private patients, they will make sure that you get a private room. But I said, all it takes is one bitch midwife to be like, he can't stay.
I should have went private.
Yeah. And so I was like, she goes, I have complete faith in the team we have here at the private hospital, but for you and your peace of mind,
again,
that option is there.
That option,
yeah.
Right?
She's so good.
Yeah. So as much as you felt out of control or in control, there was still the option of you going, I still get
We've like run into her like at the plaza.
I've run into her too.
Have you?
Yeah.
And she just think about how many babies this bitch births every day, and she every time is like, hello, and like says hi to Austin and like it's really nice.
But like again, I got induced and my labour cut in half, so it was like 2 hours and 17 minutes in total with my second labour. Got a botched epidural, but that's another story for a different time.
At least you're not paralysed.
Yeah, but I'm still scarred.
Are you?
Yeah, and I still get pain and my back is fucked now. But anyway, I'll still probably get another one next time.
And I do it again.
Yeah. And so she came in and we were like ready to go. She actually sat with us for like the last half an hour, like just waiting to like fully get there. And then I said to her again, I said, you know how worried I am? And she was like, I know. And she turned to the midwife and she said, we're going to go swap that cot out, because you know how they have the bed in the room ready? Yeah. And she said, we're going to swap that out and we're going to bring the resus one in so that if we need it, it's there. And she said, Murphy's Law, if we don't bring it in, we're going to need it. Yeah. If we have it, we're not going to need it. And so she made the midwife go out.
And do you know what? I know that deep in her heart, she's thinking, we're not going to fucking need it.
Yeah.
But Dana's stressed out, so we'll bring it in.
Yeah, and she was just, oh my God, so kind, so reassuring, just fucking beautiful.
And that's all it took though. That's all it takes. This is what the mother wants, we'll give it to her. Even though, hand on my heart, we're not going to need it. But if that's what the mother needs to get her
to fucking feel relaxed,
we're doing it.
And I was as cool as a fucking cucumber. Like, I was just so relaxed. Like, I had the epidural before I even had my waters broken. So I was just fucking chilling the whole time. He was chilling. Like, he was so good. Whereas my first, like, his heart rate was going a bit up and down and I had to move and turn and whatever. He was as cool as a cucumber the whole time.
And he still fucking is.
Yeah. And
he's
like,
so cute.
She just, like, I watched the videos back and my eyes are drawn to her and how she was towards me.
Yeah.
And, like, I pushed him out and I didn't know what the gender was. So, like, I was like, oh, it's a boy.
I called it.
And she was just, like, the joy you hear in her. Like, I'm like, that is someone that fucking is so invested in what they do. They are so genuine. They care so much. Like, she was as excited as I was. Like, and I pulled him out and then he cried and I just
I've
like...
seen that clip of you being like, oh!
Yeah, my head just throws back and I'm just bawling. And I literally say it was like the most healing moment I've ever experienced in my life because I was so terrified that he was going to come out and the same thing was going to happen. And he came out and he screamed. And then it was just picture perfect. Like,
did you just feel everything wash away from
everything? You see it in my face in the video, like the relief.
And you see it, like, I didn't know you when you had a baby. I mean, I did. When we met, you didn't have a 1-year-old yet. I think he was probably 10 months old when we met. Yeah. Maybe even 9. But you have told me specifically about a lot of the not great mentally things you were experiencing and even the way that you were behaving, like in terms of stressing about things and being overwhelmed about a lot of things. I didn't see it, but I had been told. You had told me. And even now with the new baby, it's just noticeable that you're just so not that bitch anymore. Yeah. Like, do you know what I mean?
So
like,
much.
She's got her shit together in a way that,
She's evolved,
bro. She's grown.
And, like, when I say,
she's
like,
glowing.
it was my redemption era, like, I really mean it. Like, so many people talk about, 2 under 2, like, it's so fucked, blah, 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 blah.
And it's not great, I bet.
No, like, there's so many stressful times. And, like, I totally, like, understand people saying that it's way harder for them than, like, 0 to 1. For me, I was just like, no, like, I'm going to redeem myself. I'm going to have the postpartum experience that I deserve to have.
That's why I now say to every new mum, you will have a favourite. It is shit sometimes, and sometimes you will just think, ugh!
Yeah.
And you would still love them with every answer you got. And, you know, like, just,
And, like, I feel like for me, I have a really good group of work friends and they've all just had their first baby and I'm obviously on baby number 2 and all of our babies are around the same age. And I think, like, not to try and, like, talk myself up, but my willingness to be so open about how much I've struggled has allowed them to do the same thing where they can share and be like, this fucking sucks.
I now say, like, it's sometimes motherhood is shit and you will cry and you're allowed to do that and you're allowed to have the shit day. Yeah. But it doesn't mean that you love me any less or you want to be less of a mother.
Exactly.
And I preach that because I didn't have that. It was like, it's so good, it's so wonderful. I'm like, why am I feeling so good and wonderful? So I didn't want to say anything otherwise. Yeah. But no.
And I feel like
Sorry,
No, that's
continue.
okay. In my like motherhood journey, like something that I feel like I have tried to do and have like kept it really real is just about how real it is. Like it's fucking hard. Like I never sugarcoat it for anyone. When people are like, "Oh my god, how is it?" I'm like, "Oh, today was so bad." Like I've never been one that's like, "It's just the best. It's just the best." Like I just
Like
can't.
Smith, when just
Yeah.
making everything from scratch.
Yeah, like I can't do that. It's not in me. Like I can't lie to people like that. And some people do have that experience. I'm like so happy for them, but that's just
Yeah.
not the experience
When
for
I
me.
was, when Austin was first born, there was a particular influencer that is now not on the internet anymore.
Interesting.
She like stopped being an influencer, but her baby was born like a month after Austin.
Oh my god, I know who
Maybe
you're talking
before.
about. I know who you're talking about.
You know who I'm talking
I
about?
saw her up at the shops a few
You
weeks ago.
did?
Mm-hmm. She
I've
got a
never
second
seen her.
baby.
Yeah, I knew that. I knew that. And everything she posted was perfect and beautiful and rainbows and butterflies. And I was in like a toxic one-sided relationship with her because I was like, obviously I actually low-key just genuinely liked her content since before we were both pregnant.
Yeah.
We got pregnant at the same time. Do you know what I mean? Like I just genuinely liked her content. There's no other way to describe it. But then her baby was born, and then I don't remember who was born first, hers or mine, but very close, very close. I'm talking like a few weeks, right? Actually, no, I do remember. They were 1 week apart, both on a Wednesday. Austin was born on a Wednesday, and her baby was born on a Wednesday, but I still don't remember who was 1st. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Irrelevant. And it was like a toxic one-sided relationship where I really liked her content, so I'd keep going back to watch her content. But everything she posted was rainbows and butterflies and a wonderful experience, and I was fucking miserable. And then I'd be like, well, I don't want to watch her shit anymore because it's making me feel shit. And it's not her fault. It's not her fucking fault at all. Like, who am I to fucking yuck her yum?
But people do that. People will post and will comment like, well, I actually had a really bad day, so fuck you.
Yeah.
I had someone comment on one of my videos once. I made a video saying, it's the weekend, I'm so excited to have like my husband home to help. And someone commented on my video and was like, as a single mum, this is really offensive.
Fuck off.
Oh my god, you're never gonna win.
And
I see it on too many like I'm not in England Park, but I don't know why I'm in their chat or something. I've seen it and I was like, oh yeah, I want to know something. But all like a lot of the mum community pages are like that, and really toxic. And it's
And
just,
I
all those
literally
women are like,
responded and said, I'm really sorry you feel that way. Maybe my content's not for you. I would like suggest you block me kind of thing. And she did, which all the power to her. And then I remember I spoke to one of my like really close friends who is a single mum, and I said to her, this is what I posted. Did I do the wrong thing? Like, is that offensive? And she was like, absolutely fucking not. She's like, it's not your fault that I'm a single mum. Like, how the fuck is that anything to do with you? And I was like, okay, I was just checking that I didn't do anything wrong because like I felt bad, but at the same time I was like, huh? Like
what?
Yeah.
No, like, and I remember like eventually she took herself off the internet, so I don't have to see her shit anymore. But at the time I was like, I had a really hard time with that because it was, one, I really enjoyed her content. Two, I kind of felt like, oh, well, our babies are that close in age. I remember it specifically. Now it's coming back to me. It was a week apart our kids were born. So I'm like, oh, like this is someone I can kind of live vicariously through and like feel less alone, because that's what it is to be an influencer. You influence people, right? So I felt like this was the right thing to do by absorbing her content. But every time I'd finish one of her videos, I'd be like, I want to fucking kill myself.
Yeah.
And like, that's not great.
No.
Like, that's horrible. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, interesting in in sense of like how you said, like for some people it is fucking rainbows, and I'm happy for you. But it's not like that for everyone. Even if you go through IUI, IVF, or it is just a natural conception. Do you know what I mean? Like, all three of us have had horrible experiences, and we all got to pregnancy and motherhood a different, unique way. You know? It's crazy. It's crazy stuff.
Definitely. It's an experience.
And that's why we have the podcast. So, you got 2 good kids. You got a great husband. I love that man. And I say that about everyone's husbands.
I don't say that often. But
I don't, but
like
it's Chris and Adrian.
People, but yeah.
Adrian has a special spot in my heart. You know what it is? Do you know what it is? At Austin's 2nd birthday party, but we were both there.
Oh.
I don't know. I always just remember talking to what's the other
Natasha,
mums?
my
I don't
cousin.
know. What's the other mums?
Darcy and Kim
we
and
always
Reed
end up just somehow
sitting together.
sitting near them.
Do you not remember there was a newborn baby there?
Oh yes.
He was freshy. Yeah. And I just will never forget, I was sitting there. Oh, no, I think you were holding him, your newborn.
You had him for a while.
I had him for a while, but I think you were holding him at this point that I'm about to describe. And my grandmother comes over. My 89-year-old grandmother goes, oh, little baby, And Adrian pipes up and goes, do you want to give him a cuddle? And I was like, this man has just made his way through my heart. Like, for Adrian to just, like, immediately, like, do you... And Abuela was like, oh, no. And I was like, sit down. Like, you'll be all right. Like, you're not going to drop him if you're sitting down.
Yeah.
And, just for Adrian, instantly his first thought was, this old woman is going to want to hold this baby and I'm going to offer it to her. Like...
That's him.
And if, like, I think if anyone is kind and, like, loving and welcoming to my grandmother, like, you're a good person to me.
Oh, that's
like,
Adrian. Like,
you know,
anyone... I think it's a cultural thing as well.
I think so too. Yeah. I think so
like,
too.
with respecting
Europeans,
and,
fully, and not just respecting, but like making space for them.
Very
they're not
much
just
so.
they're not just accommodating them fully. Yeah,
very
and
much.
for him to just like see the little glimmer in Abuela's eye when she was looking at this newborn, and for him to be like, I think she wants to hold him. Like, like if you're doing that, then you must be a good fucking person. And that was the moment. I always liked Adrian, but it was that moment where I was like, you're a good fucking guy. I like you.
But then, like, after that, he came up to me and he's like, we need to leave because our older child was literally harassing all the children in the playground. So we had to go. Bulldozer.
Yeah. He's a good kid. What would you say to, like, any other parent? I don't want to say mum, but particularly mums or birthing people that have had that traumatic experience.
It's tricky because I think it's something that will always stay with you. For me, like, I've obviously worked through it a lot, but it will never leave me, those feelings of like fear. And
do you think that they still manifest in the way you interact with him, your eldest child especially?
I think I have, how do I word it? I have a sense of, I feel like I need to go above and beyond to make sure that he has the life he deserves, because we're still seeing the impacts of his birth today.
Yeah, the delays.
Yeah,
is that what you mean?
So delays, speech, behavior, things like that. So I feel as though it's my duty, like, I take on the burden that he's gonna get where he wants to fucking be, and I'm gonna make it happen.
Yeah.
And I won't stop until I get him there. And I do everything. And that's why, like, I am so incredibly proactive. When people tell me, oh, you know, you're being dramatic, you don't need to go there, you don't need to take him there. I will fucking take him everywhere. Like, I will take him to every...
And then wait for a specialist to be like, look, I see your concern, but you don't have to be worried right now. And then take that for what it is, or find someone else who will take you seriously. Or again, like, even if you have to see 30 of the same specialists for all of them to tell you, Dana, like, it's okay, then you can sit with that. Do you know what I mean? But
exactly.
Give him the opportunity and the support if
and
it's
I guess it'll be interesting to see how it manifests between how I parent the two of them, because I feel like I have this extra sense of protectiveness over him, my first child, because my second one came out and he's just fucking chill. Like, he's just plotting along, doing everything, never had issues.
What? That's how I feel with... Do you remember I said he has to know that this happened to me when I finally released, because my son had no idea that I had
postpartum depression.
Yeah.
It was very important that he heard, and I don't know why I felt that it was important, because everybody's like, does Georgia sometimes feel like you give a bit too much to Jermaine? And they must have thought because he was the oldest, there's an 8-year gap. But when I released it, I realised it was because there was that guilt still. And he's fine. He's a great little human. He does his thing. He's great for the world. But there's that big part of me that carries that guilt. And for my daughter, she was that same. Chill. She done everything herself. She hit her milestones, and so like they both did. But there's a massive part of me that still, 20 years later, there's still all the things I need to protect him. So when he gets a bit like upset about something, I'm like, whereas Georgia, I'm like that, but I'm not as into, because I know she knows how to do it herself. But then I think, well, does she, or am I just using that? So there's always going to be something where you feel you got to not compensate, but give that bit more. Like, what if you've missed in something?
Exactly. And like, it's even still like literally yesterday, my second baby was on the floor and he started like army crawling, and I said to my mum, well, my first baby, he never got to do this because
We
he
were
was in a brace.
In a brace, yeah.
And like I said, he's, you know, doing so well because he has so much tummy time and he just gets to go, and I just put him on the floor and he gets to do what he needs to do, and he's able to build that strength.
And just real quick, like, second born also has hip dysplasia, but no brace required.
For now.
Yeah.
For now. So, yeah, like I even still, like, I'm like, well, he never got to do this. So that's why, like, he was delayed with crawling and walking and whatever. And so it's still, even though I've worked through it, like, I feel like it'll always be there in a sense.
Yeah.
And I think, like, even though obviously what happened wasn't my fault, it's just I'll always, like, hold that and carry that.
Yeah. So what would you say? Sorry, we went on 50 tangents. But what would you say to other mums that have had a traumatic birth?
Give yourself time to sit with your thoughts and what happened, and seek support because it's a lot to hold for, like, by yourself. And yes, you can share your experiences and talk to friends and family, but you need to truly work through it.
And look within, I think, is important.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's hard to do when you are caring for a newborn. Do you know what I mean? And still bleeding if you're that early on in your postpartum journey, and like fucking working out breastfeeding and X, Y, and Z. But like,
and I think when there's something going on with your child like that, the last thing you're thinking of is,
I've got to sit down and think through this and get therapy.
And seek help, because for any mum that does that feels, and it shouldn't be like that, feels that's a bit selfish. I've got to get, there's a lot going on with my child, so why would I then try to check myself?
Yeah.
Which is what we should be doing. We should be going, hey, hang on, I need help over here while I'm going through this, but we don't, because what would we tell our own children?
Yeah, exactly.
But we don't, because we just feel like it's a bit selfish.
And it's not even selfishness, but sometimes it is a matter of, wow, maybe my kid is fucking got brain damage. That is very clearly something I just need to turn my focus onto right now, and anyone would do the same.
Yeah.
It's not about being selfish or not. It's just like that at this moment is a pressing fucking issue. Do you know what I mean? Like, then once you move through that, and then a specialist is like, yeah, we don't have to worry about brain damage, you're all good, then you can sit with your thoughts and get a therapist. Do you know what I mean?
But I just think, again, I've only known through public, at what point there's like any, I don't know if it's a job either, but at what point do they then go, that was a bit traumatic, do you want me to give you some referrals to speak to somebody about that, or?
I can't remember if I was
don't
offered
think that
anything.
that's the case.
No.
I don't know, but I'm
what
going
I
to
mean.
guess.
Like, I feel like it should be something, because if somebody's not asking, at what point?
See, I feel as though something like that would be more accessible in the public system, because it's likely that they would refer you with the social worker, and then they would support you, but that's not really, I've found, like, anything.
I feel like there should be a lot more pediatricians who should be able to give you a mental health care plan. Like pediatric specialists.
Or let's give you a directory of where you can, who you can call. So if you're not thinking of it now, you're at home, you're like looking through it like, I just give them a call.
Yeah.
Like at some point.
And you know what? I've even found when it comes down to like a mental health care plan, a lot of the time they do, not a lot of the time, it's part of how they do it. They do a questionnaire and they ask you, are you having dark thoughts? How many times a day do you have these dark thoughts? Blah, blah, blah. But like, what if you're not having the dark thoughts, but you're going through something traumatic and you want to prevent those dark thoughts?
Yeah.
Then fucking what?
Yeah.
Like right now, I'm just focused on making sure my kid doesn't have brain damage, or making sure my kid has his hips fucking fixed, or whatever it is. I'm not feeling the impacts of that, but if we get onto them now,
like when you're in the thick of it. And
I don't want to get to the thick of it. I want to prevent that, and that can only be done if we get onto this now.
I definitely feel there's a gap.
And I think that was the game changer the second time around, because I was already linked in with the psychologist.
That's right.
And that was one thing that was accessible to me second time around, was he said, if anything turns to shit, I will be on the ward with you.
Yeah.
I will come to the ward and we will go through it. We'll talk through it, whatever. So it was very reassuring for me knowing.
Do you still see that therapist? Mm-hmm. Great.
I actually have an appointment on Monday.
Well done.
So, like I knew that he could be there to talk through everything with me if I needed it, which I didn't. So, but it was just great.
But it's great to have an option.
Yeah. And it's so funny as well, like just going on the topic of mental health, when I decided with my first baby that I wanted to seek some support, I didn't know where to turn to, and I wanted something that was like postpartum specific.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I called the mental health line. And I remember speaking to the person and I was like, I want to access some support for postpartum. I want something like postpartum specific. And the person on the other line was like, I don't want to say useless, but like they really couldn't help me. And I remember sitting there literally doing her job for her, going, I'm on Google, this is what I found. And she's like, oh, yeah, that could be an option. And it literally was like, I remember hanging up and feeling so defeated because I was like, that was the biggest waste of time. I've just got nowhere. Like,
and it takes everything to call that.
Yeah.
Because you've actually just got like, I've gotten to this point, I need to call.
Yeah.
And then you call and you get up and you're like,
well, I was like, well, that got me
I didn't
nowhere.
even start there. I mean, I found my therapist on Instagram.
Oh, wow.
And it was because I think I just went through a deep dive of, and she's in Perth, so we do Zoom sessions because she is neurodivergent focused and postpartum focused. And I was like, baby,
Perfect.
I found what I needed,
Yeah.
right? And she's also neurodivergent herself, has neurodivergent kids. So she's obviously been postpartum and been neurodivergent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Fucking love her so much. And like, again, I also have a session on Monday.
Twins.
I know, right? But again, like, I didn't even try those avenues because I already knew I'm not going to fucking get anywhere.
Yeah.
And I literally turned to social media, which is a blessing, but like, it shouldn't be that, I shouldn't have to work that hard.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's good. I think it's really important to sit and take that time with yourself and think things through and get therapy if you can. It has been a blessing having you here. I've been looking forward to this a lot, haven't I, Beck?
She has. It's been going on. And I
I'm
have
like,
to
you
keep
have no
checking
idea.
Oh, yeah, it's Dana. So every time, and of course my phone to listening, so I see all your stuff on TikTok, and I'm like,
Love it.
That would be my other thing that I would just put out into the universe is hip dysplasia screening. It is not necessary for every child, but me and my specialist agree, like my children's specialist for hip dysplasia, every single child should be screened for hip dysplasia, regardless of risk factors, for peace of mind, because if we screened all children, so many children would get picked up earlier, and that would take the burden off the public system later on, because people would be done and dusted, treated as babies, and then we wouldn't have, you know, lifelong issues for these kids that go undetected. So screening for hip dysplasia is very important.
Thank you so much for coming, Dana.
Thank you.
It's been so much fun to have you. And again, like, a lot of what you've talked about today, I've heard already just from us being mates. But I remember hearing, especially about hip dysplasia, a lot and being like, fuck, tell me more. So, like, I can only imagine how many other people, parents or not, might be listening. Not that we have a large audience. But
we always say like about 5.
there's a good 5. And I think one of them is Maddie and the other one is Taylor.
One of them
I
Jamie.
listen.
One of them's Joe. Oh, Dana listens. So there we go, 5. Done.
We can definitely
Oh, and then I always listen to it back to make sure it listens good. So that's 1.
There we go.
But honestly, like, it's so important to talk about it, and that's
Yeah.
why I literally like spoke about it so much on my TikTok, was because I'm just so passionate about the topic now and spreading awareness, and just like even within my circle now, the amount of people that know about hip dysplasia
That wouldn't have before.
exactly that wouldn't have never heard of it, didn't
That
know
was
anything
literally
about
me.
it.
I think I had
The
heard
only
of it,
thing
but
I'd heard of is like clicky hips, but I didn't even know what that was.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like people just referred it to back in
Yeah.
the day, was clicky hips.
Yeah.
And, you know, people would be like, oh, I had a clicky hip as a kid and we just double nappied, and, you know.
Yeah.
But now it's like, even within just my immediate circle, people are so informed about hip dysplasia now and are so mindful of it with their own children. And I'm like, that's all I could ever ask for.
Yeah.
And the amount of people that I have reached, like with my social media, the amount of people that reach out to me and talk to me about their kids and their experiences. I have so many people.
That's fantastic.
And just being like, I couldn't find anything and I found your videos, like, thank you so much. I'm like, that is exactly why I posted about it, because there's just nothing out there, but it is so common at the same time. So people just want to feel seen and heard and understood.
Thank God for social media in that thing.
I've always said, like, everyone's just like, oh, social media is so bad, and it's like, yeah, but I have seen
depends
so
on
many
what side
beautiful
you're
parts
on,
of it.
yeah.
Like, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? And it doesn't even just depend on what side you're on. It's just like, there is a beautiful side.
There is.
You know what I mean? But yeah, thank you so much. And
Thank you for having me.
I have already still learned a lot that I thought I knew, but I didn't. And it's been so much fun to have you. And follow Dana on Instagram and TikTok, and
Thank you.
have not that many people are fucking watching, but maybe you'll get a couple of followers. But yeah, thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.
Yes.
Bye.